Hey there, good morning. It's JB Portillo here with Bella Vista Community Television. And I have with me our famous mayor, John Flynn. Hey, this is the last session for the year.
Yeah, that's
didn't
right.
2025 just go...
It seems that way, doesn't it?
It
really
does.
went fast.
Yeah.
So a lot happened.
I know.
Yeah.
And you had a really good planning commission. What is wrong with me today?
Council meeting.
Council meeting. We had all these congested meetings lately because of the holiday, so it all gets kind of thrown together. Yeah. So you want to get us off to a good start?
I thought I'd maybe go through a few highlights. You know, we got our financials for month ending October 30, so that's 10 months of the year we have in now. And they've been really good. The operating revenues were $21.3 million, and that is $1.9 million ahead of budget. So we've had really good revenues, and it's especially on the city sales tax side, we're up 13%. And the county sales tax has continued to be kind of so-so, just increased a little bit. But the city has been the real star this year.
Is a lot of that, I mean, I know some of it, internet sales helps that a great deal, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it does, and I think that all the construction activity has been a factor.
Yes.
And some of our restaurants doing pretty well, too. We've had some new restaurants come along, like Bella's Table and Table La Pan, things
Everybody
like
thinks
that.
it's Table of Pain and it's a chiropractor. But it's not. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you know, our city clerk used to teach French, so she helps me with my pronunciation with words like that. So anyway, the other thing is operating expenses were $17.5 million, and that's almost $1 million under budget. So we've done a really good job with the expenses this year. So in total, our budget's actually $2.9 million ahead of budget with just a couple months left, so that's a good feeling.
So on those expenses, though, let's just kind of explain it a little. Is that because we did really well on savings, or is there a timing thing where it's still going to catch up and eat into that surplus?
Sometimes it catches up a little in December, but because they have all the holiday pay for the police and fire, they pay that for the year in December. So that always brings it back to earth a little bit. But
you're feeling good about the financial health of the city.
Yeah, and the total fund balances are $12.5 million. So we feel pretty good about our position right now. So
good deal. Okay, so. City council meeting. What did they talk about?
Yeah,
what
it
did they
ended
decide?
up going really well, better I think than people thought it might. One of the first things is something we're really enthused about. The street department needed to get council to approve a grant. They got a grant for $300,000 from the state for a specific road project. The state has a fund where they'll give these grants just every few years. Usually you'll get it maybe every 4 or 5 years. They kind of share it around the different cities. And last time we did Suits Us Drive, which, if you'll recall, it was really messed up on the part down by 71 in particular. And this time they picked out a road, Bethnal Road, which is on the far east side. It's about 1 mile long. So they're going to do that. And we pay 10% and they pay the rest, up to $300,000, and it's good. So what the street department does when they apply, they try to pick a fairly long street, so they'll get their whole $300,000 worth.
Gotcha.
And that's pretty much what's going to happen on that.
Okay.
So we're real enthused about that. Then we had a couple of appointments. You know, we had a couple people for the Board of Construction Appeals, and a couple people for the Library Advisory Board. And one thing I've noticed recently is there's so much citizen enthusiasm for these different boards. We're reigniting or reactivating, I guess, the Public Safety Board, which has to do with police and fire. And I've been a little stunned. We're taking applications till, I think, around June 10 or so. And we have over 30 applications for 5 positions. It's just unbelievable how enthused people are about getting involved. And that's kind of encouraging, really, that the
Yes.
citizens want it. Because mainly these boards are always voluntary. So it's just, a chance to meet and have your input. And it's just interesting to me how many people are, willing to serve and wanting to be a part of it. So, we always get a lot of people for the Active Transportation Board, which has to do with trails and bikes and all that sort of thing. But now we're starting to get a lot of applications, like for the public safety and whatnot. I was just overwhelmed, but they were just pouring in.
That's good.
And it's very encouraging, actually. So that's one thing that happened. Let's see. The next thing is, we had a parcel over there on the west side that they were. Someone wanted to change the zoning from
Residential.
residential estate, which is a larger tract, to commercial, and it had residential all around it. Also had some problems with getting water and things like that. Anyway, the council turned that down, and I think that was the right decision. They mulled it over for quite a while. It was, the Planning Commission had rejected it rather strongly, and it took them a while to get to the right conclusion. But I think that was the right thing to do in that particular case.
Yes.
We want to have more commercial, but it needs to be in the right place. And most people in their houses don't want a business right in between two houses, right?
Well, and the terrain of that piece of property was ridiculous, and anyway,
Yeah,
it was
very
hard. It would have been
challenging.
very hard.
Yeah. So, and also, let's see what else happened. Well, the council established salaries for the mayor, city council, and city clerk, and they hadn't changed them in a couple of years, and they were pretty modest. They did the mayor and city council was 3% increase, and the city clerk was 7%.
And she deserves that. She deserves that.
Yeah, she has a challenging job. That city clerk job is such a different job, and it's very challenging. And but Wanda Krug is she's really nice to work with, which is important.
Sure.
And but she's very conscientious, and we've been really fortunate with that position. It's a part-time, 20 hours a week, and we've had several people in a row that really were good, likable, and very good at what they do. So.
And the two of you are responsible for and make a lot of the decisions, do a lot of the sign-off on things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's nice to have a good team there.
Yeah, that's one of the things I learned when I first became mayor is the city clerk actually doesn't report to the mayor.
No.
They report directly to the people. They're elected by the people.
Yeah.
So it makes for a nice relationship, really, when you have somebody who's conscientious and cares about the city, which fortunately that's what we've been getting several times in a row now. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and you got a backhoe.
Yeah, the street department, we just passed that sales tax bond extension in December. And so this is covered by that bond. It was $128,000, and it was on the lot. So that's why they wanted to hurry up and get it. You can actually get things and pay for them, and then when the bond closes, get reimbursed, because the bond actually isn't going to close till late March. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of technicality. Once the citizens approve it, when you think back, council approved it in early August, and then the citizens approved it in November, and then there's some legal technicalities. For one thing, the bond rating agencies and the underwriters have to figure out what the interest rate will be, and so that takes a little time. And it's just like everything else. Right now, it's around the holidays.
Yeah.
So people sit around and figure interest rates. They spend time off at Christmas and New Year's also.
Yes.
So it's hard to get them to hurry up when
That's right.
when they're right in the middle of the holiday, right?
Yes. Yes.
So the other thing that happened is we had a new pumper fire truck, which we ordered, and this was also under the bond. It was $1.2 million, and the fire chief wanted to get that ordered right away. It's unbelievable, really. The lead time is 35 months for a pumper truck.
Incredible.
So you have to really plan ahead. And some of the more dynamic trucks, like the ladder trucks, the lead time's more like 48 months. So it's, you think, hey, you have to plan ahead and think, hey, we need this.
That's right. That's right.
Or we're going to need this in a couple of years. We better get going.
Yeah.
So is that kind of a lead time? You really have to kind of jump on it. So he wanted to order that right away once the bond passed, so he could get the clock ticking and getting it delivered. So
okay.
that was interesting. Let's see what else we got.
Fire construction looks like we got that going.
Oh yeah, well, we have two different budgets. We have our regular budget and the capital expenditures, and the fire chief was trying to guess how much the construction would be during the year, and so we had to amend the capital expenditure budget and add about $230,000 because they were going They got a little more done than he thought, and so it's a little higher than he thought it would be falling in this calendar year. In fact, they're kind of working pretty hard right now because of the time of year and the weather, of course, is going to change. And they're trying to get the roof on that other part. The part that's over by the street doesn't have a roof on it.
Yes.
So you'd like to get that before it gets weak. Looks like we're kind of lucking out that it's going to be fairly mild the next week or so. Right around now, around Christmas, you never know what we're going to get.
True.
But they were talking like highs in the 60s. So I guess we're not going to have a white Christmas. I hate to break the news.
Oh, well, that's okay. We're really lucky. We have a nice, mild 4 seasons here. I think we live in a pretty cool part of the country. We don't have hurricanes. We don't really have a lot of issues, and we got great people. Yeah.
I think when you see some of the problems people have other places, you think, well, maybe our weather is pretty good all in all, really.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Anyway.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Why don't we? It's a little early, but let's take a quick little break, and then we get back, because we don't have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah.
Is that all right with you?
Sure.
All right.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back, okay? In a few seconds. Okay, we're back. All right. Let's take up where we left off. I think we were also talking about maybe using some impact fees. Now, as an educational point, remind us again, for those that didn't hear us before, what's an impact fee?
Yeah, that's a good question. So impact fees are something cities are able to enact, and it has to do with new construction of homes or commercial property. And there's what happens is you get outside consultant, and we use one called Tischler Bice, which is the biggest one in the country, and they study your expenses and your capital expenditures in particular, and the increase in population, because impact fees the idea is that the new construction would reimburse you for some of the burden of having the additional people, so they can only cover new things. For instance, and the impact fees we have are on police and on fire and on the library, mainly those 3 things. But the kind of thing that happens, say a policeman has a police car and it's gone 120,000 miles, and then you need to buy a new one. That's not covered by impact fees. But if you hired a new policeman, so you have one more than you used to, and then bought him a car, that would be covered by impact fees. So it's only the capital expenditures that were caused by growth that are covered.
Who pays those fees?
Well, if you're building a home or building a new commercial property, then the fee is on that new construction. So really the builder pays it. And presumably an economics person would say, well, it must get passed through to the purchaser of the home then. Yeah. But when we first enacted these a few years ago, for example, on a home, the impact fee is $1,100. And
so it's a set fee?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we didn't have a single complaint. Nobody, builders or anyone, said anything about it, because they felt it was reasonable, not real high, and wasn't really, going to change anything. I mean, people are not going to say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy that $300,000 house because it's $301,000."
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
but it's important, I think, to be reasonable because you want to have money to do the things the city needs to do, but you don't want to be unfair to people either, builders or anybody else. So I think that's one reason why we had no complaints, because it was a fairly reasonable fee.
Gotcha. So the budget was amended to use those fees for
Yeah.
how much?
Yeah, we had a little over $1 million, and this had to do with past construction we'd done when we were altering the old police facility, making it living quarters for Fire Station Number 1. We had some part of those expenses were paid for by cash, and so even though they're past expenses, you can use your impact fee money on it. So actually, it's kind of a cash flow thing for our director of finance. You know, she can have the $1 million moved over and now use it.
Yes.
It's reimbursing for something we really did a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
But you know, with the bond not closing until late March, and we still have ongoing construction and whatnot, she was interested in having the cash flow. So the one rule about impact fees is you collect these fees from all the construction. And of course, our construction's been pretty robust, but you have to spend it within 7 years of when you get it. So it's good to make sure you use it.
Right.
So.
You got to have a really sharp financial person that says, "Oh,
Yeah.
we need to move this."
Yeah, we need to make sure we use them up. So,
Yeah.
And actually, we have changing the subject slightly, but every few years, usually you study impact fees again because the city changes. Things change. A lot of things have changed since we did that. I was on city council at the time, and Peter had made me the point man on the impact fees. So we're having a study done right now, and they probably will change in the near future. They
Okay.
have, you know, they're going to be coming through to us with their final study. But it's, you know, with all the growth, it's just amazing. All the, you know, it's putting quite a burden on. Examples of things that are covered are like the new Fire Station Number 5, things like that. Now we had that in the bond, but the expense of it probably will be greater than what we put in the bond, and you could use impact fees. And, you know, sometimes you have to buy additional ambulances or fire trucks or whatever, that kind of thing. So,
That's right.
But if you're replacing an old one, see, that wouldn't count.
Wonder who sits there and makes up all those rules.
Yeah, well,
It's confusing.
you know what happened in the old, this is before Bella Vista was involved in impact fees, but actually in the old days, some cities had impact fees that were quite extraordinary. There'd be like $25,000 a house.
Oh,
And it was in attractive areas where people wanted to live. And so there was litigation around the country. And then this whole set of rules kind of evolved about that. In other words, they have to be reasonable and they have to be connected to something. It can't just be, oh, I feel like charging you $25,000 today, so I'll get a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to show how it's connected to the growth. So really the calculations the experts do are quite involved. And that way you're able to legally justify it and, you know,
I just
be
saw your
defensible.
lawyer kick in there.
Yeah, I know.
But that's good.
Everyone's probably falling asleep from all the lawyer talk, right?
No. I love it. I love it. You know, I ask you these questions sometimes, not only that because I want to know, but I really believe that there's people out there that's like, I wonder how you would ask him what that means.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to
Yeah.
help educate myself as well as everybody else out there.
But one of the things from our point of view is, you know, you have the revenue coming in and you've got all these expenses. So the different things kind of aside from the budget where you can help is impact fees.
Yes.
And if you get grants, if you're able to get grants from the federal or state government, like that $300,000 from the state, I'll tell you the Karen Hunt, the director of the street department, was quite enthused when she got that grant.
I bet she was.
And it's quite a process. I mean, it was approved in December 2024. That's when they say, okay, you're approved, you have it. And by the way, we'll get a hold of you in a year to go ahead with it. So this is like more than a 12-month delay.
Yeah.
But we knew we had gotten it quite a while ago. So But I'm kind of trying to get our folks more and more applying for grants.
Yes.
You know, because that is a way to get more money for the citizens without, having to raise taxes or anything else.
That's right.
That's what all that goes on behind the scenes.
Oh, I know. There's a lot goes on
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So you got the budget approved, right?
Yeah, that was big. We've always, the law is actually that you have to have the budget approved by the end of January. But that makes no sense because, the year starts January 1 and you're
Right.
paying people and doing all these things. So we've always tried to get ours done in December. I think most cities probably do. So it's nice to have that put to bed. And we work on it for a few months and try to fine tune it. And I was pleased with how the budget came out this year because we're showing a good gap between revenue and expenses, and got some things done capital expenditure wise. And that new bond was a big factor. I went around and talked to the citizens about it, how we needed it, but I don't think you couldn't realize how crucial it is, because some of the things that go on is, one example is we had that revenue bond that we can pay off with this. Well, that's $700,000 a year out of your regular budget. So it's a big thing to get that, taken off the books, and that way you have that much more money to do whatever you need to do.
Exactly.
So there's things like that. I guess it's inside baseball or something, right? Getting into the details. But we were really happy about it passing. It passed 6-0. So I was glad we were able to get the council folks all on board,
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit about this request, a very admirable request, but with the Children's Advocacy Center. Can you give us an update on what that's all about and what we can and what we can't do?
Yeah. So what happened is the Children's Advocacy Center has some things they do, which is when a child is involved in possible sexual abuse, they have people that are able to talk to them and counsel them, but also talk to them in a way that the evidence they give testimony they give is admissible in court. So it's kind of used partially to help the child, but also for the prosecution. So that's kind of a big thing. So what happened was they lost a number of grants, and it amounted to $600,000 a year. Well, their total revenue is something like $3.1 million, so it's very significant to them. So they're trying to react to that and plan ahead. And what they want, one of their concepts was to get money from the different cities. They got some money from the county. So then it's kind of a matter of how many children did they do in Bella Vista versus some other city. They're thinking they're trying to get proportional. But you can't just give money to a charity, so you'd have to have a contract, and it's a kind of fee for service. So from our point of view, the bottom line is they're wanting some money from the city of Bella Vista, and it would be for the same service we were getting for free before.
Oh.
So that's the bummer from the city's point of view.
Right.
But it is a very important thing, a very sympathetic thing. In fact, I'm actually going this afternoon. I had talked to the director. They're located over in Little Flock, but they cover all of Benton County. They have another location in Gentry. But I'm going over to meet with them and talk about it, and they're going to, show me their location because they have some live-in activities over there also for abused women and children.
Yes.
So, we want to kind of get to the bottom of it and study it and come to some rational conclusion. But it's pretty, and I've talked to the police chief, and he said it is very, it's something that's really needed. What's interesting, he was in Tucson, before.
Yes. And
they had their police officers, certain police officers were trained to do that interrogation of the children. When he came here, they had this outside agency do it. Well, if you think about it, for our area, the way they do it with this agency makes sense because you can't train, there's a lot of little cities in Benton County, a lot smaller than Bella Vista. And to train police to do something so specialized in all those cities, that would never happen. A lot of little cities just wouldn't have anybody. So to have one central place that does it, specialized, the concept makes a lot of sense to me.
I wonder if there's any grassroots action that could take place. I was thinking about that the other night at City Council, because it is a very worthwhile thing.
Yeah.
But like one of the council members brought up, there are an awful lot of worthwhile nonprofits. That doesn't take away from the importance of children.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering if there's any sort of grassroots action that could happen.
Yeah, or maybe something charity-wise, could be done to raise money. But yeah, it's a good point the one council person made that, well, there's a lot of worthy things. Apparently quite a few of these community action things were getting pretty good money during COVID and are getting less. So a lot of them are really feeling the pinch a little bit, I think.
All right, we've got a few minutes left here. Let's talk about the trash rates. It was funny the other night at the council meeting, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people in the audience just got the message from Republic on their phones.
Oh,
about,
did they? At the
yeah,
same
it's
time?
like $60.
Yeah.
So tell us about that and why.
Yeah, we have a long-term contract with them. It goes through 2027. I think it's in its 13th year or so. And what they did is they made a contract, and then the rates go up according to the CPI. And one comment I made at the meeting, they use the CPI for sewer and trash. There's different CPIs. There's the regular consumer price index, but there's some specialized ones. And I've noticed the sewer and trash one is consistently higher than the regular one. It's a little annoying. It's like probably 2% higher, so every year. So I think the increase this year is something in the area of 4%, but people will notice that in their trash bills, I'm sure.
Oh, we noticed it right away.
Yeah, I didn't realize they got the notice right then.
Yeah, any of us that have signed up for automatic and all of that, we're on the website. It's like, what? Okay. Very
right
timely,
But that sailed right through with council.
Oh, I know.
They just
well, I mean,
all voted for it.
you have to have it.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one more thing to talk about, and that unless you have something else. But the underwriter, you chose the underwriter for the bond?
Might be interesting to people. We put out a request for proposal for the underwriters, and we got one response. It was from Cruz and Associates and Stevens Inc., which are both Arkansas companies. And they were actually the underwriters on our last bond in 2020. So we were pleased with that. But council has to actually approve choosing them. And Raymond James is our advisor. And as you can imagine, all these people know each other.
Yes.
They work on different deals. But the idea of having they submitted a joint proposal. And the idea of having two people, is $34 million. And it's a little bit of a risk spreading. So you could each have two different people do it, and then have another one, two different people do it. So that was kind of the idea there. And of course, the bond closing, as I mentioned, will be in late March 2026. So we'll be happy when we're able to put that to bed. But
absolutely.
Everything looks like it's moving along. We're really happy with our advisor. And one thing I liked when we first came out talking about this bond, they said it's 4.8% interest, and I thought, yikes, that's high. And I was pretty confident it was going to come down, that because of all the national talk, that there was going to be some lowering of the interest rate by the Federal Reserve. And now it does look like we're going to be somewhere in the 3% range, below 4%. So It's come down a couple times just while we were marching along, and it really is going to be set close to the closing, so it could come down even a little more.
That's good news.
But yeah,
we got 33 seconds yet. Shall we wish everybody happy holidays and all of that?
That's a good idea. Yeah, we've got Christmas and New Year's, and so I do wish everybody a happy holiday and looking forward to the new year. I think it's going to be fun.
It is. You know, it's always nice to start the year off fresh. Thank you, everybody, and a big thank you not only to the mayor and the city, but also from Bella Vista Community Television. We could not do this without you. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you.